Hello everyone. So today we'll be dealing about the recently presented budget for the year 21 and 22. So before proceeding, we will just look at the budget in terms of its revenue account as well as the capital account. So as you know that generally when we talk about budget, so budget is divided into two parts. So one is revenue account and the other one is capital account. So the revenue account consists of the day-to-day affairs, whether it is expenditure or the earnings for the government, and the capital account is like a long-term expenditure or the money which the government gets from a long-term investment. So I'll be dealing with it separately. So as you know that when a budget is presented, so uh, one presentation is done for the year which has already been passed. So for the year 2019-20. So for this financial year, the left side which you can see, this amount is mentioned. So how much money was given to various heads for the year 2019 and 20. So this was the actual expenditure, and again in 2020 and 21, this is the revised estimate. So we know that right now the budget is presented for 21-22. So this is budget estimate. So this means that government wants to spend this much of amount of money, or government would receive uh, this money for the coming year 21-22. So for 3 years, the in the budget document you get the figures for 3 years. So for 2019-20, you get the actual figure, how much money government has collected or how much money government wants to spend, and the revised estimate for 2020-21, and the projected expenditure or the revenue which the government would get in the coming year. So as you can see that it consists of this revenue receipt. So what is revenue receipt? So revenue receipt is the day-to-day receipt which the government receives. So it basically includes uh, dividend, uh, dividend of the public sector undertaking, the interest earned. So it includes dividend, interest earned by the government on the loans which it gives to the states. It further it also includes fees, fines, or other user charges. So let's say if you go and visit Taj Mahal, so you pay a nominal fee before entering Taj Mahal. So that fee which the government collects comes under the revenue receipt. Or it may also be the gift or grant which the government receive from time to time. So this revenue receipt, uh, we will not be dealing with the figures for 1920 because this has already been passed. So we look how the how much revenue receipt the government got in the for the year 2021 and how much government wants to spend in the coming year. So for 2021, the revised estimate was uh, 15 lakh 55,000 crore, and in the budget estimate, the government expects to earn a revenue receipt of 17 lakh 88,000 crore. So similarly, the next item we see is that the capital receipt. So what is capital receipt? So capital receipt is the amount which the government receive from it is the government receive this amount, let's say from proceeds from disinvestment of the public sector undertaking. So whenever government does a disinvestment exercise, so it's receive a bulk amount. Similarly, we also have government also receive proceeds from the sale of government assets. So by that I mean that whenever government sell a spectrum or the coal block licenses, so government receive a very large amount of money. So these form of money government receive in the form of capital receipt. Also, when there is recovery of past loan, so whenever government does the recovery of past loan. This also comes under capital receipt. And similarly, the borrowing by the government. So government also borrows money in order to fulfill its budgetary provision. So this also comes under capital receipt. So uh, if we add both the revenue receipt and the capital receipt, we get the total receipt. So the total receipt for 2020-21 is 34 lakh 50,000 crore almost, and this around the similar amount of money government wants to spend in next upcoming year. So now coming to the expenditure part, so government receives this amount and also government does expenditure from time to time. So we have a revenue deficit. So what does revenue deficit show? That government has revenue receipt and government would also do revenue expenditure. So when you subtract revenue receipt minus revenue expenditure, sorry, yeah, so minus revenue expenditure, you get revenue deficit. So that means the amount which government is receiving in the form of revenue receipt is less and government spending is more. That's why there is a deficit, revenue deficit. So how much is that deficit? So that deficit, see, you can see that that deficit has also is quietly uh, is quite high because due to pandemic, the government has spent a lot of money in order to support the people. So you can see that there is a huge jump in the figure from 6 lakh 66,000 crore to almost 14.5 lakh crore. And again for the next upcoming year, the deficit here you can see that the figure is decreasing because government wants to have control on that. And now we are witnessing from the lockdown period to the normal period. So that much of spending by government is not required. So next item here is the effective revenue deficit. So what is this? So you saw that it is revenue deficit. So effective revenue deficit means the revenue deficit minus grants which government gives to the states for creating capital assets. So uh, this much amount government is spending for various items, and similarly the government gives grant to state to build up road infrastructure, school, colleges, etc. So we subtract the grants which government gives because these grants are long term grants and these would create a value for the human being rather than this day to day expenditure. So we subtract. So we see that the revenue, effective revenue deficit is this much. So that means around 2 lakh crore of money government has given in the form of grant to states for creation of capital asset. So similarly, physical deficit. So what is physical deficit? So physical deficit is the total money which the total expenditure which the government does minus the total revenue which the government get. So total expenditure which the government gets. So total expenditure minus. So if you subtract total expenditure minus the total money which the government is getting, so you get fiscal deficit. So there is deficit. So government does borrowing. So fiscal deficit is nothing but you can say that it is also borrowing. How much money government wants to borrow from several institutions. So you can see that there is a huge spike in the borrowing amount from 9 lakh crore to 18 lakh crore, almost doubled. Why? Because due to again, as I have said, so due to Corona, government came out with various packages in order to support industries, provide food to the people, and there are various measures which government has taken in the last 1 year during the lockdown period. So now again coming to the last part, this is primary deficit. So what is primary deficit? So primary deficit is this fiscal deficit minus interest payment. Sorry, minus interest payment. So you see that government borrows a lot of money. So on that money, government pays interest. So if you subtract this interest from the fiscal deficit, this is your deficit, and if you subtract this interest payment, you get the primary deficit. So if say the primary deficit is, let's say, 200 crore in one case, in another case it is 500 crore. So now you tell me that there are two situations. In one situation the primary deficit is 200 crore, in the other situation the primary deficit is 500 crore. So which situation is better? So if you see that primary deficit, as I told you, is fiscal deficit minus interest payment. So to get a figure of 500, so something minus, so x minus y is equal to 200 in one case, and in the next case x dash minus y dash is equal to 500. So this would be x, because this is fixed, this is your fiscal deficit. So you see that if you reduce less, sorry, if you reduce more, you get this figure as less, and here if you reduce less, the remainder is high. So that means in this case the interest payment is high. That's why you are getting only 200 crore. So if primary deficit is low, and in one situation the primary deficit is high, so this low situation is the situation where the primary deficit high is much better than the situation in which the primary deficit is low. Because why? Because this says that your interest payment is much more than the second case. So that means you have taken much loan and your interest payment is very high, so you cannot sustain by paying lot of money just as an interest. So you see that here the fiscal deficit has almost doubled from 9 lakh to 18 lakh. But see, the primary deficit rose from 3 lakh to 11 lakh. So if you subtract here, it is the figure, it is almost 9 lakh, and here it is around 8 lakh. So that much the primary deficit has not like it is not in consonance with the difference in the fiscal deficit. So that means the government has the interest payment part is not much. So government has given money for infrastructure creation. So in the budget presented by Nirmala Sitharaman, our finance minister, so how much fiscal deficit she has pegged for the year 2021? So it has been pegged at 9.5% of our GDP. And so it has increased drastically from the last year figure, and for the upcoming year 21-22 the estimated figure is 6.8% of the GDP. So this fiscal deficit target, so as you know that we have the FRBM Act. So FRBM Act says that you have to bring your fiscal deficit to 3%. But again, due to this pandemic, we exceeded this number, and from time to time amendments have been brought out in the FRBM Act. So initially it was for the year 2018, then it was again revised to 2021. Now again it has been further revised to 25-26. So our next target is to bring down the fiscal deficit to below 4.5% by 25-26. Yeah. So just moving forward, before analyzing budget, you also need to see from where rupee comes from and where rupee goes to. So government definitely some money is coming to the government, and similarly government is spending that money. So you here you don't have to remember anything, you just have to see the trend. So from where the government earns its maximum money. So from this figure you can see that you have to see that this is the budget estimate for 21-22. So this may vary because this is estimate. So you have to see this one, the revised budget for 2021. This has already happened. So you can see that the rupee comes from, so high, the rupee comes, so in a rupee 18 paise comes from corporation tax, the corporate tax. So the corporate contributes around 18 paise to the overall rupee which the government earns. So this is for, and similarly the government earns 17 paise from income tax. Similarly, for custom, the amount earned is 4 paise. Excise duty, it is around 7%. GST, it's 18 paise, and non-tax revenue is 10. Non-debt capital receipt is 6, and borrowing and others are 20. So you see that government, if government is spending, is getting 1 rupee, then 20 paise, almost 20% it is. So government is borrowing 20 paise. It is a huge amount. And similarly, you can see that where the rupees goes to. So if you can see here, the rupees goes to central sector scheme. So 13 paise goes to central sector scheme. Similarly, interest payment, you can see that the interest payment is 18 paise. Defense, it is 8 paise. Subsidies, 6 paise. Finance commission and other transfer on the recommendation of finance commission, it is 10 paise. Similarly, the state share of taxes and duties is 20 paise. And pension, other expenditure, and centrally sponsored scheme. So in centrally sponsored scheme, the state government also contributes in the overall budget for that scheme, and central sector scheme, the money is contributed by the central government. So you just have to remember the trend that the money largely comes from the corporate tax, number one. Number two is the the corporate tax and the GST both contributes 18 paise, 18% you can say out of 100. Second is your income tax. So you just have to remember this top 2-3 items. And similarly, where it goes to which schemes. So largely it goes to the 20 paise goes to state share of taxes and duties, and 18 paise to interest payment and central sector scheme. 13 paise government gives out of a rupee earned. So moving forward, now we'll see the budget proposal for 2021. So this budget proposal was made on 6 pillars. So what are the 6 pillars on which the budget proposal was made? The first pillar is health and well-being. The second pillar is physical and financial capital and infrastructure. Third pillar is inclusive development for aspirational India. Fourth pillar is reinvigorating the human capital. The next is innovation and R&D, and the last one is minimum government and maximum governance. So the whole budget was presented on these 6 pillars. So we'll talk about the health and well-being part. So what is there in the budget in the health and well-being section? So before proceeding, we'll see that there was a scheme called the Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Yojana. So what is this scheme? So this scheme is valued at 2.76 lakh crore. This scheme is to provide free food grains to around 80 crore people, cooking gas for 80 million families, and cash directly to the 400 million farmers, women, elderly, and poor. So when lockdown was announced, everything completely, it was a total shutdown. So government came up with this scheme, and through this scheme, free food grains were provided to people, cooking gas was provided, and DBT was done to farmers, women, elderly, and poor. So the whole budget of this scheme was came up to 2.76 lakh crores. So now moving on to the health and well-being part. So under health and well-being, you have the PM Atmanirbhar Swasth Bharat Yojana. So what is there in this scheme? So it will be launched with a budget of 64,000 crore over a period of 6 years. So government wants to spend around 64,000 crore for over a 6-year period. You don't have to remember these facts and figure, but you just have to remember the trend, how much government wants to spend, and some of the major schemes. So Atmanirbhar Swasth Bharat Yojana. So these schemes may be asked in the prelims examination. So what is the main purpose of this scheme? So to develop the primary, secondary, and tertiary care health system. So we know that the our health system consists of the primary care, the secondary care, and the tertiary care in the cities. So the government wants to strengthen the whole public infrastructure and also strengthen the national institutions of health related to health and create new institution to cater to the direction and cure of new and emerging disease. So, like today, we witnessed or we face the disease of corona. Next time, there may be another disease. So, we have to build our institution internally so that we are able to cope up with the situation in an effective manner. So, this says that what is there under this scheme? So, it is a centrally sponsored scheme. Just a second.
Yeah, excuse me for the disturbance.
So we are talking about the PM Atmanirbhar Swasth Bharat Yojana. So the main intervention is to support around 18,000 rural and 11,000 urban health wellness center. So what would government do under it? Government would integrate the public health lab in all districts. So now the public health labs are not integrated. So government want to integrate all these public health labs and also the block public health unit. So by integrating, government can have a comprehensive data and subsequently action could be taken based on that. Similarly, we have the government wants to set up the critical care hospital block in around 600 districts and 12 central institutions. So critical care hospitals would be set up in blocks in 602 districts. 15 health emergency operation centers and 2 mobile hospitals would also be set. Similarly, a national institute for One Health, a regional research platform for WHO, and 9 biosafety level 3 laboratories and 4 national institutions for virology would be set up. So, virology is the study of various viruses which are emerging. So, due to corona, it has the study of virology has taken a new significance. So governments want to set up more for regional and national institute for virology. So you don't have to remember all those things, but you just have to see that if government wants to spend around 64,000 crore, then in a span of 6 years, so where that money would go? Yeah. Similarly, the government also wants to strengthen the National Center for Disease Control. So this institute was in the news during the corona time and uh, its work was also appreciated. So government wants to strengthen it further and also its 5 regional branches and 20 metropolitan health surveillance unit. So in case of any outbreak of a major disease, so these can play a very effective role. And similarly, the government wants to expand the integrated health information portal. So this health information portal would have various data related collected from the states and UTs and effective data through that data and effective decision could be taken so that government can have uh, watch on the movement in the health sector. Similarly, operationalization of 17 new public health unit, strengthening of existing public health unit and point of entry. So some checks are also done during point of entry at the airport, at the seaport and land crossing. So these would be strengthened. Now, moving forward, the next scheme which we have is the Swachh Bharat, Swasth Bharat scheme. So under this scheme, the Urban Swachh Bharat Mission 2.0 will be implemented with a budgetary allocation of 1,41,000 crore over a period of 5 years. So from 2021 to 2026. So what is the main intervention under this scheme? So this scheme would have fecal sludge management and wastewater treatment. So this scheme mainly focuses on the urban India. So it would do the fecal sludge management and wastewater treatment so that water could be reused again. Source segregation of garbage. So garbage would be segregated at source. So you might be aware about the wet and dry garbage. So, and in Hindi we say that सूखा and गीला कचरा. So if you do the segregation at source, so it becomes easy to handle that garbage. Also reduce the single-use plastic. So single-use plastic is quite dangerous for the environment. So the target is to reduce the single-use plastic, and in general also plastic of 50 microns. Plastic having at least 50 microns is allowed. And next is reduction in air pollution by effectively managing waste from construction and demolition activities. So you know that whenever you study the sources of pollution in a city, so construction and demolition produces lot of dust. So in case of Delhi, you see that from time to time when the pollution levels are very high, so the government, what the government does, so it stops the major construction and demolition activities for a certain period of time, so that the air quality could be improved. And also bioremediation of all legacy dump site. So through the use of microbes, government can control the pollution. So it was mainly used in case of an oil spill or any kind of say environmental destruction. So this is quite effective. Now moving on, the next is nutrition. So here the government wants to supplement the nutrition program. So government has launched the Poshan Abhiyan. So now government wants to launch the Poshan Mission 2.0. So with more budgetary provisions or with more effectiveness in the overall program of the Poshan Abhiyan. So in order to reduce the pollution, government has also come up with the scrapping policy. So what does this policy show? So this says that the vehicles would undergo fitness test in automated fitness center after 20 years. So if you have a personal vehicle, so after 20 years, the fitness test would be conducted, and if the vehicle is fit to run, then only it would be allowed to run. And for the commercial vehicles, this test needs to be conducted for 15 years, because you know that commercial vehicles, the usage of uh, the usage of commercial vehicles is quite high as compared to personal vehicles. So there is a difference of 5 years. So similarly, moving on to the vaccination part, we can see that, sorry. So moving on to the vaccination part, we can see that there is a made in India product is being rolled out for pneumococcal vaccine. So for pneumococcal vaccine, a made in India product would be rolled out, and government has allocated around 35,000 crore for COVID-19 vaccine. So separately 35,000 crore has been allotted for the COVID-19 vaccine in the upcoming year. Budgetary outlay for health and well-being. So the for health and well-being, the budgetary outlay have been enhanced to 2,23,000 crore from 94,000 crore from the previous year. So it is 137% more. So it is 137% more than the last year. So, but you have to remember here is that it does not only include the health, also the well-being part. So well-being part consists of the drinking water and sanitation. So don't confuse with that only the health department, the money has been enhanced. So the health and well-being together we see from the sanitation and drinking water. And lastly, coming to the universal coverage of water supply. So here we know that you have the Jal Jeevan Mission. So now Jal Jeevan Mission Urban would be launched. So what would be the purpose? To supply waters at urban local bodies. So government wants to supply pipe water to the every urban household, and also there is focus on liquid waste management in 500 Amrut cities. So just few years ago, government has launched the Amrut cities, so Atal Mission for Rejuvenation of Urban Transformation. So in that, this scheme is a comprehensive scheme where government wants to build the infrastructure Also, the build the drainage system, improve the pollution. So, to in order to make the city more livable. So, this is the first part of this whole presentation, and similarly, I'll take up this inclusive development for aspirational India in the second part. So, health and well-being portion is covered. Whatever was presented in the budget, in the next video, I'll be taking up the inclusive development for aspirational India. Thank you.